Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Politics with Sherry Jacobus. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber yet, I hope you'll help me out and hit that button, and we'll keep this going. So, yeah, we're in trouble. I think I don't know if it's too late. I honestly don't. But it's pretty late. We're 10 years into this, and we've been the sleeping giant. We've been soft. We don't see the signs. We don't believe it. I've seen us fall for internet, for Twitter gadflies that no one knows anything about, trying to lull us into a false sense of complacency. We saw this with Merrick Garland, and I think we got used to it. We want to give our money to the guys that do hard-hitting videos that make us feel good, but the money doesn't go to elect Democrats. We have been as stupid as we claim MAGA is. We have been as gullible as we claim MAGA is. And that's the truth, and you know it. So we need to do better, but I think we need to do lots better. So this is the latest. We have Steve Bannon. Remember, he was his sentence was commuted. He was pardoned, whatever it was, for his crime. So he's a criminal. He knows he's a criminal, and now that they know they can get away with it, there's no guardrails. This is exactly what happened with Trump when we let him go for 10 counts of obstruction of justice in the Mueller report. So we've been complacent for a long time, which makes us complicit. So Steve Bannon, in an interview, he says Trump will be president in 2028 and get a third term. People ought to get accommodated with that. And then somebody says, what about the Constitution? He says he is a vehicle of divine providence. This is the type of thing that we've been screaming about for 10 years. And everybody's like, whatever. It's true. And yes, the demolition of the East Wing of the White House, for people that say they don't care about it, it's a big deal. He said he wasn't going to do it. It is our house. It is the same as bulldozing any other monument. And the fact that they've got this bunker with very high-tech national security, comms, communication systems underneath it, which is the real reason for the ballroom, for demolition. They always knew they were going to demolish it. They claim they didn't, and now they're saying, oh, well, then we realized that we had to. No, you don't do that without congressional approval and jumping through all kinds of hoops. And it doesn't matter that some people think, well, it was time. This is not the way you do it. Stop making excuses for this monster. I've said in the past, we've discussed this, and I get a lot of feedback from you guys too, who in your own personal lives in the MAGA that you see that this is true. They only care when it starts affecting them. If they think they're in on the con, they're okay with it. They're like, ooh, like it's our team. We can lie, cheat, steal, rape, pillage, as long as it's our side doing it. But when it stops feeling like you're on that side, when he turns on you, it's a horse of a different color. The danger is Trump only does that when he's pretty sure he doesn't need you anymore. And that's what should frighten us all. So Republicans in Congress, remember, Trump, as a Republican, has the majority in the House and Senate. So why would he not go through them, the proper channels for congressional approval? And you can't have private donations paying for our national security communication system, that bunker underneath the East Wing that's being demolished or upgraded or whatever it is they're calling what they're doing there. They've demolished the East Wing without any mention of this facility, the bunkers. Okay. Saddam Hussein, Hitler, they all did the same thing. They all built these bunkers, and they built the ballroom. Same thing, blueprint. It is not a coincidence. It is not an accident. Trump gets off on telegraphing in advance what he's doing. And the reason he does this, does he get his jollies out of it? Yeah, but he's testing us. That's why he comes right out and says what he's going to do. That's why he makes it obvious his ear wasn't hit, that this was a fake assassination attempt. Every expert knows and has said publicly that that bullet allegedly used would have done damage. This just can't happen, okay? Trump does this knowing, just testing, pushing the envelope, seeing how much will people take. When they know I'm lying, when they know I'm looting, when they know I'm committing treason, when they know that I've raped little girls, how far can I push them? Because so far there's a lot of bluster, but no one's done a thing to touch him in 10 years. 10 counts of obstruction of justice in the Mueller report. And no one did anything. He knew then. I've said before that to me, and I think history will show, that was the real marker. All bets were off when we did not hold him accountable. And there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. impeach him in the House. And at that early stage, I do believe that the Senate would have convicted. And even if they didn't, you still have to do your job and do the right thing. You don't go, well, we're not even going to try because it'll be too much trouble and, it won't work anyway. Bullshit. No excuses. And the same with Merrick Garland and the people that we chose to believe when they told us, oh, he's just dotting his I's and crossing his T's. No, he wasn't, ever. And yes, I blame these people, but you know what? These people were nobodies. They aren't former federal prosecutors. These weren't people that we knew about or had any kind of accountability. We listened to them because they were telling us what we wanted to hear. We were soft and we were gullible. The things that we accuse MAGA of and rightfully accuse MAGA of. MAGA now is just downright evil. They're showing themselves. And Trump knew the psychology of the people that he could sway to his side. He knew that if he could get them to hate us and hate others more than they love the country, that they'd be fine with him being a criminal and a traitor. They don't care that he lied about bulldozing the White House. I don't think Republicans in Congress care, but here's what they should care about. They should be concerned that he no longer needs them as his accomplices in these crimes and treason, that it means he's got something else up his sleeve, that what they've done has enabled this, okay? Oddly, it seems that Marjorie Taylor Greene gets it. Of course, she's got some constituents to answer to. So as I've said before, when these members of Congress are more afraid of their constituents, the voters, than they are of Trump, then something might happen. I'm not sure we're there yet. They seem to think that Trump can always save them. But here's the thing. He's acting like he doesn't need them. And they have choices to make, and I think they have to make it quickly. We've heard rumblings that there's a handful of Republicans that want to remove or sue or remove Speaker Johnson. I think they want to sue him and bring Congress back so they can get back to work and release the Epstein files. So there's some pushback there. But here's the reason I started saying before that Republicans in Congress should be concerned. The fact that Trump claims, he's building this ballroom with private donations. Who is paying for the bunker underneath and those sophisticated communication systems? Where is the oversight on this? You do not get private donations, especially if they're in rubles or oligarchs, to fund something like this. This belongs to we the people, and the Congress is supposed to has an oversight function to perform. You can't have this going on, destroying and reworking the sophisticated emergency bunker communications national security apparatus below the East Wing that we were told was not going to be demolished. And it just happened. And Trump didn't even talk to Republicans in Congress about this because he knows how weak you are. He's already seen how far he can go with you. He can do anything. He can stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone, and y'all are fine with it. So this is why he publicly telegraphs this stuff. And we thought, oh, he's so stupid. No, he wasn't. He was testing to see how far he could push things. And we let him, like taking candy from a baby. I think he and Putin have both been shocked at how easy it was. Not as easy to take Ukraine. They actually love their country and they're worth fighting for it. They think it's worth fighting for. Us, not so much. Not so much. I mean, I know people that don't even want to get in the crosshairs of their MAGA friends, and have their social life get awkward. Only when it affects you. So Republicans have to understand that something is affecting them when their Republican president won't even go to the Republican Congress to just even to get, kind of a blank check on what he wants to do. He's working around them because what he's planning is something that he, for some reason, is not quite so confident that even they could go along with. Or, like I said, he doesn't need them anymore because they've let him get away with enough. Okay? He's a freight train out of control. The other thing is now the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, Department of War, with the mentally imbalanced, unhinged talk show host running it. See, Trump isn't going to get competent people. Remember how he used to say in his first administration, he wished that he had generals the way that Hitler did that were loyal to him. But we still had some people there that cared about America, and they thought that they would be the guardrails. We don't have that now. Trump is putting in the types of generals that Hitler had, and that includes Pete Hegseth. So Pete Hegseth has now sent a memo out to all of the Department of Defense, including congressional liaison, that they cannot have any contact with Congress without expressed approval from him. This is unprecedented too. This is why they kicked out the press too. They have something planned, people. I'm telling you, something big and bad that they don't even want their right-wing press to have exercise any kind of freedom of the press with. That's why they're getting rid of the ones who they're basically saying you go along with what we're doing or you're out. Unprecedented in the entire history of this nation. So now, Congress, you cannot have even congressional liaison from the Pentagon have a conversation with a Republican in Congress or testify or anything. Why? Now, I know that there might be MAGA that thinks that if Democrats have the Congress, they would, oh, that's great, that's great. The MAGA I know are idiots, and they're very bad people. Maybe they could have just been considered idiots 10 years ago, 6 years ago, but now I know they are bad and evil people. And Trump has managed to get them to hate anybody who opposes Trump, be Democrats, independents, anybody, more than they love America. So they would be thrilled if this was just a Democratic-led, this was being done to a Democrat-led Congress. This is being done to a Congress that is led by Republicans. And they are not allowed to know what's going on in the Pentagon, even when it's their job to do so. We have 3 branches of government for a reason, to checks and balances. So Trump wasn't just trying to see how much he could get Republicans to go along with in Congress. I think he always planned to do this. We get them to a point where they're cornered, they're weak, they're all compromised, and then we cut them out. So Congress, Republicans have abdicated everything to Trump, and frankly, so have Democrats. We can't even do daily fact-checking briefings. I'll keep bringing this up because if Chuck Schumer wasn't standing in the way and we were facilitating these, as I've laid out many times, how to pay for it, it's easy, it's cheap, it's completely doable. The press is right there in the building waiting for something to cover. You've just waved the white flag to Trump and Putin. You've surrendered. You didn't even put up a fight. If you had, I don't think we'd be where we are right now. I don't think we'd be close to where we are right now. So shame on all of us. Shame on all of us. But Steve Bannon saying this is chilling because I think we know it's true. And I think we know that we have people in some positions of power who are only willing to do as much as they feel comfortable with. You can find that in your own personal life too. You look at the people in your life who maybe they say that they're anti-Trump, but they sure don't want their MAGA friends to know it. And it's that kind of attitude that's on all different levels that has gotten us to where we are now. Trump was always going to push this as far as he could. We have known for 10 years, or at least 9 years, that Putin was behind all of this. And we just didn't want to be bothered. Or as long as it's somebody that's getting harmed and hurt and destroyed, and not us, and it doesn't affect us, we let it happen. Hello? Like what happened to me. The people who stood by and let that happen, she's not important, whatever. But you should have been alarmed that this was happening, and that press was literally going to heads of cable networks and saying, don't have this person on. And this was in the primary. It was a big deal. Not because it was me. Take my name out of it. But everything from there bulldozed. And then he had FBI investigations shuttered once he was in office when it was about him or one of his allies. And people knew it, but as long as it wasn't anybody important, it's okay. I don't know if it does any good right now. It's not that I want us to beat ourselves up, but I do want us to be real honest with ourselves, even if it's painful, about how we let this happen or how people around us let this happen while claiming to be on the side of America. What we are finding out is that it's not just Republicans who only will fight back when it finally starts affecting them. It's many on our side as well. It's many on our side as well. I had Ferdinand Amani on my podcast over on Patreon this week, and we were talking about this. And he is the son and grandson of Cuban exiles who lost their country, and they had to escape an evil dictator, a narcissist. So he always knew it could happen here. He's with me. I've known for 10 years because it was happening to me. And he's always known. And we had a discussion about, did people really think it can't happen here, that it couldn't happen here? We're not on the brink of fascism and authoritarianism. We are in it. And it's going to get worse. And he and I discussed that we have both been told by other people, aren't you afraid? He's going to get you. Why are you doing this? Well, we've been doing it for a long time. Will one day Trump's goons bust down my door and drag me off and I'll never be heard from again? I don't know. It does happen in other countries, and it's going to fast be happening here. The boldness with which his goons, his flying monkeys, say things means they feel pretty confident. What's his name? Blanche. The guy who is his personal lawyer is now number 2 at DOJ, put a tweet out today threatening Illinois Governor Pritzker because he's saying, we are going to sue. We're going to fight back. You're not going to send National Guard from Texas into Illinois. And so Blanche says, that was, we will prosecute you interfering with the work of federal agents, blah, blah, blah. These people. I mean, this, and I tweeted back to the number 2 at DOJ that his Nuremberg trial will be real quick and decisive if we have them. But that's where we are. And our side are so in denial. We don't want this fight, so we keep running from it. We keep running from it. I don't know what the hell Chuck Schumer's doing. I don't know why we can't have daily fact-checking briefings. They would be covered by the press. They'd be live streamed. You look at all the podcasts and all these YouTube channels, and people, look at, there were 10 million protesters at the No Kings rally. Every single one of them would be taking that content. Think of it as content every day. And they would be using it in their own lives. Even if they have a little bit of power. Remember, we talk about changing the mind of just one MAGA. They'd have something to work with on Facebook. Fact checking, information to shut down these MAGA lies. And it's our side that is preventing that. Our side. Our side. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries. That we can't even do that. That is why Trump is so bold with this stuff. Why Steve Bannon is so bold with this stuff. They see Democrats cowering. And we see Democrats cowering and not doing anything to help us or protect us or work with us. America, we're in danger, girl.